Stay updated with what businesses are doing in the Middle East and find new strategies to grow your business. I am Ayman Aitani, Business Growth Specialist, and this is BizRap. Hi, I'm coming to you today from the lovely city of Abu Dhabi for our episode talking about the state of the UAE retail economy from the perspective of Majid Al Futtaim, one of the leaders in retail. They published a report about industry insight and consumer trends, which we'll discuss more in details today. Plus, TikTok is pushing business growth by extending its partnership with Shopify, including the Middle East. We'll talk more about what does this mean for Shopify merchants and TikTok users. And with COVID-19 came a surge in mobile gaming apps, download, purchase, and so on. App Annie has published a report on the status of mobile gaming, and there's a specific mention of Saudi Arabia and Egypt and their ranking in usage of mobile gaming. We'll talk more about that. Also, Mastercard released its 2021 MEA SME Confidence Index, which is, fancy words for saying that how confident are businesses in the Middle East region, specifically SMEs, on the growth of business moving forward, and 78% of them are optimistic about future growth. So a positive sign. Lastly, in a retro bit, we're going to talk about Internet Explorer 3 and 5. Those came on CDs. Installing those, we're calling them apps now, but that software on CDs. I'm Ayman Aitani, and this is BizRap. So what Majid Al Futtaim did is they published something called the UAE Retail Economy report. And they shared key findings from this. And I went through the report with my team, and we identified a couple of things that we thought might be of interest for us to discuss. So first element is more than half of the residents in the UAE believe that there's going to be a strong economic rebound from the pandemic, meaning that there's much more confidence in going out to the market and buying things and being more active. And I live in the UAE. And the retail sector has definitely done a very strong rebound when it comes to purchase and activity when I compare that with friends and families' behavior in retail in different countries. Another component is the discussion of digitization, how that has obviously accelerated during COVID. And that is, there are two aspects of this. There's the part where how we buy our products, using e-commerce. And then there's the other part of the internal digitization of CRM, for example, of saving your home location, your phone number, your preferences, and so on. Another aspect as well is a quarter of the country's electronic sales are up 9% for fashion, 8% for grocery sales. All of those take place online. And also, that report will be linked in the description later. So this way you can go ahead and go through the details of the report. Next, TikTok and Shopify.
Hi, I'm Taro. I'm 26. And what I do is I create jewelry inspired by West African culture, history and art. The idea came from receiving jewelry from my grandma. And we just thought we want to create something where people can, for specific pieces, like the mask pieces, can pass on to their children. We've started creative videos and ads on TikTok. We've been able to reach over 1.8 million people in 3 months. To me, being ahead of the game means being able to reach a wider group of people. So having TikTok and Shopify integrated has been great. It allows you to be smart about what you're selling. Shopify has literally been the backbone of our jewelry business. Anyone can be a business owner. It doesn't matter who you are, what your background is, what gender you are, and you can be successful. I'd say just find what works for you and go for it.
Shopify is the leading platform for retailers to sell online to their users. They have millions of vendors You have the small shops, and you also have large corporations that use that platform. And Shopify has been partnering with social networks. So they did that with Facebook Shops back in May of 2020. And so a few months after lockdown. And they've been doing a lot of work with TikTok, specifically now for TikTok for the Middle East. There's a tighter integration where you run ads on TikTok via the Shopify interface link there. So, and that also includes the tracking within the ad manager. And if you notice the TikTok for business, that aspect, the reason I bring that up is when I have discussions with retailers on using TikTok as part of their family of paid ads, for them it's always about, I have my cousin who's a teenager, she dances, or my cousin, he does this and he does that. So TikTok for Business is a specific aspect of TikTok that focuses on businesses. And if you look through TikTok's online assets, there's something called the TikTok effect, where they have very specific case studies on how they've driven sales. So here's an example of how feta cheese has gone out of stock due to a viral trend.
So by now, we probably all know about this. But did you know that this one viral recipe literally disrupted the global feta cheese market? Literally. Google searches for feta cheese spiked during the height of the craze, causing the entire country of Finland to run out of feta cheese. The US also saw a 200% increase in demand, which is great news for producers. This just goes to show how a viral trend on TikTok can affect the global economy and make products fly off the shelves. Which, if we're being honest, we're kind of into. Follow for more TikTok effect.
So mobile gaming continues to grow. So and PC gaming is still big, but mobile gaming obviously is more accessible to all of us. So if we look at the numbers that App Annie was publishing, so we're looking at the iOS store and the Google Play Store. So weekly App Store spends, they're more than 1.7 billion with a B. And that's, if we're comparing that with 2019, it's a 40% increase since then. And also the time we spend on the devices has gone up 35%. So at that time spent is, yes, I understand during COVID lockdown and so on, we had this huge increase, but I also look at my own personal patterns on my weekly increase in that. And every week there's a nudge increase, although it's not lockdown, but our habits of using our devices for gaming and non-gaming continues to grow. It was unusual for me to see Angry Birds and Cut the Rope as top apps because they've been there for such a long time. People have been using them for such a long time and across multiple ages. So classics, is this what we could look at there for that? And also Angry Birds have tried to venture into different aspects like merchandise and their movie and a couple of other partnerships here and there for that. Now to look at the countries, the top 20 markets globally for mobile games. In 2019, there were no countries from the Middle East listed in App Annie's report, but in 2021, we have both Egypt and Saudi are listed on that. So definitely COVID has had an impact on this. And also our consumer habits as users in the Middle East of using our devices further and further every day for gaming and work and keeping in touch with family and friends. And obviously because our network connectivity also has been increasing and improving, that also contributes to a much larger usage and behavioral pattern on that. Next, we're going to talk about Mastercard and the report on SMEs.
Most downloaded mobile games in the world. Clash of Clans 700 million downloads. My Talking Tam 800 million downloads. Pokemon Go 1 billion downloads. Candy Crush Saga 1.2 billion downloads. Subway Surfers 1.5 billion downloads.
So Mastercard study focused on the confidence in SMEs. So they're polling them to understand how confident they are in the outlook and so on. And these reports play a role because Mastercard does them frequently. So you get to see the confidence in the market that goes up and down from people who are actually in the market buying and selling. The retail segment has been expressing the most confidence ahead of other sectors like food and beverage and entertainment, construction and manufacturing. So retail is high up there, and F&B are better than before, but there's much more room to grow there, considering COVID. Other aspects in the report are 81% of SMEs in the MENA region, so Middle East and North Africa, are optimistic about the next 12 months. That's also always a positive sign when it comes to doing business in that. There's a mention of increase in the cost of doing business. This has been happening year on year. The cost of doing business continues to rise, and 53% of those polled in the report have expressed their concern for that. And 39% spoke about the problem of access to capital. Access to capital continues to be a MENA issue because the sources are not great, the requirements are very high, and it takes a lot of work for an SME to be able to get some form of funding. So, and that has given rise to different types of funding, like wider access to trade capital funding, trade capital finance, and better lines of credit. And also there are other aspects that are more peer funded, but those are not very, very commonly used. Next, we're going to talk about our retrobit. I came across a tweet by one of the team members who was originally with the Internet Explorer team. And I've been finding myself spending more and more time on Twitter. I've been enjoying it more and more because they've changed how they serve content. So my default is now no longer the fire hose of all of the tweets. It's specific types of tweets that I engage in, and I've been seeing them tweak their algorithm based on also my personal inclination to consuming content. So one of the tweets I came across and that triggered the segment is I remember he was on the Internet Explorer team back in the 90s, and he was talking about it was a long thread about talking about how the Internet Explorer pushed what they did as a team and how they were able to really grow the product. And we're talking about Internet Explorer 3 and Internet Explorer 5. And the picture that you're seeing here is CDs, and I saw that, and that drove some memories regarding to buying CDs for installing applications. So, as a reminder, we used to get a CD, plug, have it in the computer, go through the setup part. We haven't done that in years. So all of this is you download other apps on your phone or on your computer. So the CD aspect also was a very strong reminder. I also have a reminder of even earlier than that, the floppy drives. I remember I used to play Prince of Persia as a game, and it was three floppy disks, and that was a large game. Let's say every floppy disk was 1.44 megs. So that's that's a tiny game that was considered to be large. So what Internet Explorer did, the team at the time, they built a culture and a focus of work for growing the product and having it perform much better than others. And once what the user was saying is that after they dominated and they became the primary browser, there was less interest and less push by the company, and so they disbanded the team of IE Internet Explorer and moved them to other departments, and some people left and so on, and that allowed others to emerge, like Chrome and Firefox and others. And even for a while there were Internet Explorer. It had a bit of a downturn, but recently with Edge and others, they've been working on many improvements in that browser and tying it obviously to the OS, the Microsoft Teams, and others. So I hope you come across CDs in your old home or in your parents' home if you're visiting. That's it for me for today, and I'll see you all in a couple of weeks. Thank you.
All right.
The episode is over. Thank you for watching.